Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Coffee, part of Provoking Safety, the channel where we think, talk, and do safety with the intention of provoking safety at home and in the workplace. Today's Wednesday, September 9th, a short week. It's the middle of the week of a short week. Yay. Really nothing significant. There's lots of stuff that happened in history. I suggest you Wikipedia it and have a look. But as far as it goes, really today isn't something substantial. Tomorrow, however, is. I encourage you to check in tomorrow for sure. It'll be a new morning coffee, and yes, tomorrow's something substantial. Until then, hey, you know what? Oh, hold on here. Yeah, doesn't that suck? Isn't that something else? These things are such a distraction these days. They're terrible. Let's talk about it, okay? Yeah, let's talk about it. We're used to hearing about distracted driving, and even there's a lot of comical stuff with pedestrians all heads buried in their cell phone and running into each other and stuff like that. But something that doesn't get a lot of news time or a lot of sound bites is how these things are a hazard and a distraction in the workplace. I've got a couple of articles that we'll look at today. And chances are, unless you were searching for them, you likely wouldn't have found them. They're buried, and I found them just by typing in cell phone accidents. And so, I mean, if you do that, great, you'll find them. But let's have a look. First off, the headline, beware the hazards of this digital distraction. Subline is, of course, employers can't continue to risk having employees maimed or killed, an expert warns. It's the truth. This expert talks about, and this article talks about, workers are increasingly turning to digital tools to stay connected. Part of it was due to COVID-19, and everybody wants to make sure their family and friends and relatives and people far off from them that they're normally disconnected from, they feel this need to connect to them more. However, something else to realize is people logged a total of 6 billion minutes using the different collaboration apps as companies transition to remote work and so forth. And things have changed now as workers are getting back to work, but that part of it also is that need to be connected as well. Interesting to say that a group that was doing this study found out that people have a tech addiction. Really? Who'd have thought?
Yes, I love technology.
They go on to say that workers took an extra 2.5 hours out of the day, or a total of 2.5 hours typically, accessing digital content unrelated to their job. My concern is, what about somebody who's looking after, I don't know, maybe having to direct equipment or a flagger? Like, I haven't seen it yet, but I suppose it could happen, where you have somebody who's supposed to be holding traffic direction or something at a construction site, and they're looking at their cell phone at the same time. It is a concern, and I know a lot of people are thinking, no, couldn't happen. Let's look at the fact that unnecessary use of smartphones led to workplace accidents in the past. And of course, this article is from the United States, so really haven't been able to find one or find any data on it from Canada. If anybody has any, do me a favor, leave a comment below and let me know, and I'll look at it. But right now, the claim is that 14% of accidents that occurred in the workplace in the past are a result of smartphone use. Of that, it's higher on factory floors and in construction sites, and that would make perfect sense because you have more riskier activity, or I shouldn't say maybe riskier activity, but more hazardous activity in addition to more risks. These accident rates went up to 26%, with 58% of them ending in injury or death. That's really disconcerting.
This is very disconcerting.
Jumping over into the other article is, and this one was written in February, this other one that I just said was written recently, and this one was written in February, and they talk about roughly the same thing. And construction company supervisors were interviewed. They say, and of course in the United States, there's really, the concern is there's no law, no OSHA law prohibiting the use of it. In Canada, it's a little bit different depending on what jurisdiction you work in. Some of them, BC, for instance, says a worker can't be impaired, and they list a bunch of other things, and they say other causes. If you're distracted or your attention to work is impaired by other causes, it could fall under that. Other jurisdictions will state that you have to be taking every step to ensure the health and safety of yourself and every other worker on the job site. And so if your attention was distracted by anything, then you weren't taking that step or the necessary steps. In a sense, we do have laws prohibiting cell phone use, especially if there's hazardous activity where it requires your sum total attention. I'll leave both articles below, and I do recommend that you have a look at them. It's, as I said, something that seems to be plaguing society as a whole is we're so used to looking at these things, and it's bad enough in meetings. It's bad enough where you would expect to have a person's attention, and all of a sudden it used to be just the cell phone would ring and it would drive people nuts. But now what's happening is somebody's up doing a presentation and everybody's heads are buried in their cell phones. That's one thing. But to put it into a work site where you have, say, forklift operators or machinery operators or people, I mean, a worst case scenario would be a person who's doing the safety tending for confined space entry and that person's busy looking at their cell phone. I have seen cases where people are monitoring the air quality for an asbestos removal and they're busy looking at the cell phone instead of monitoring the air quality and monitoring the pumps that they're supposed to be looking at. So that's disconcerting, and I have seen it. So how much, if I've seen it, where's it occurring? So let's take it to heart, and if we have to, maybe switch them to off. Of course, the other thing that's bad is these things that alert you to stuff as well. I don't know, the distraction is becoming more and more and more. Anyway, a bit of a rant, bit of a talk. Hopefully, I've prompted you to give some extra thought and maybe turning the cell phone off, and turning the vibrator off, especially when you're participating in hazardous activities where your attention has to be solely centered on the activity. If you like the content, do me a favor, click the like button. If you didn't like it, go ahead, clobber that unlike button, but let me know why. I appreciate hearing all of your comments. For those of you that haven't subscribed yet, maybe give it a click below, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You'll get notified of new content. Anyway, that's it for today. Do me a favor, think safety, talk safety, do safety, in order to provoke it at home and in the workplace. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.